What's going on, everybody? I go by Sixth Designer, and today we're going to be discussing Zaniah Monae's $3 million record deal and what it means for the future of music, art. This is classic AI versus the artist kind of talk. You know what time it is. Let's get into it. So recently, the creator, if you will, of Zaniah Monet. Her name is Telisha Nikki Jones. She appeared on CBS's Mornings with Gayle King. Gayle King interviewed her, and they went through her creative process, how she actually makes the music, and her thoughts on AI and the success that she's having with Zaniah Monet. During the interview, I'm not gonna lie, like Gail really did come for her.
Yeah, I was totally surprised, and then a lot of people started reaching out, and
But Nikki, they thought Zaniah was a real person.
Zaniah is an extension of me, so I look at her as a real person.
But you can't sing. So she's not a real, in that sense, she's not a real.
There's just so much to unpack here. First off, is it the lyrics? Is it the singing? Like, what is it that makes art art? Because I could look at someone like a Neo who had to like write a lot of music for a lot of artists before he ever got his shot. So I don't think that you can really confine it down to the lyrics, because then it just turned out that Neo was like the full package and that he could sing and he could write like really, really well. When I look at Zaniah Monet, I kind of liken her to like the Gorillas. And for those who know, the Gorillas was like this animated band that did this pop rock meets. It's really pop music with like hip hop elements. I couldn't really call it hip hop, but it did have rap elements within it, and they had these animated characters driving the car, going here, going there, very imaginative soundscapes, and just the animation was really cool. This is way back in the 90s, early 2000s. The difference between Zaniah and the Gorillas, though, is that when you look at the sheer ease of how the prompts generate a song, it's literally like three clicks. Whereas when you look at the Gorillas, someone made that music. You never saw who made the music, kind of like how Metal Fingers Doom never really took his mask off. Like, but you know that there was someone making the music. Now, she's writing the poetry, she's writing the lyrics, but at the end of the day, when you take something valuable like music, it's something that people just personally value, and you distill it down to opening up Suno, clicking three buttons, and then somehow this woman makes $3 million. It's selling it short because there is marketing, so on and so forth, that goes into it, but it's definitely cheapening the art form. And here's my fear in this. Yes, she got the bag. She got $3 million. But this isn't going to spark a new wave of artists that are going to continue to perpetually get $3 million deals. Especially when you go on Gayle King's show and actually show her how to make songs. Here's the question. What's to stop me or even you from dropping a mixtape today, using Suno to make some prompts, and then writing in the feature line that this is a Zaniah Monet song? Like, what's to stop me from doing it? What's to stop you from doing it? Because the entire zeitgeist, everybody who knows now. Like, that's the other thing about AI. And I maintain this to be my truth in AI. Nobody's supposed to know. If you use ChatGPT at work to create a report, you're supposed to use ChatGPT to create said report, hand it into your boss, and your boss is supposed to say, wow, this was an amazing report. It's crazy how you caught all this detail. You're supposed to say thanks and keep it moving. You are not supposed to tell them, well, I pressed three buttons in ChatGPT, because then your boss is going to say, oh, just three buttons? Oh, wow, I can do this too. You know what? Don't think we need you anymore. And that's the problem with AI. There's supposed to be mystique in this. Like even when you look at sampling and all these other things, yes, these are great tools and they were very controversial in their time. But ChatGPT, tools like Suno have made it so easy that you can't help but devalue the music. There's like no effort going into it. And here's the thing, when we talk about art, art is short for artwork. It's called artwork. The work is on purpose. It's called craftsmanship. And these things matter to people. And that's the thing about AI. If you're going to use AI, lie. Just lie. Like tell us something. Give us a dope story. But they literally broke the fourth wall on this. And on one hand, I respect Telisha because she came out and she said, hey, look, I'm a black woman. I created Zaniah Monet. She's an extension of me. Also, I'm writing all this poetry. I'm writing all this music. So it is coming from a real place. But at the same time, showing the entire process and giving all of that information out, I think she should have just held it down. I think I would have loved to kind of live in the mystique of it. And that's the thing that I hate about AI. It cheapens everything. Once you find out that there's no magic at Disney World, it's like, do you want to go? Prior to seeing the CBS interview, I knew that there was a person in the background making this music. But I didn't know what percentage. So here, I've used Suno in the past. I recorded a hook, I made a song, so on and so forth that I wanted sung. I already purchased a beat from a producer off BeatStars, and I wanted someone to sing a hook. I went on Suno, I put a wave in there, added some prompts, I was able to generate a song. I took that song, killed the instrumental, took the vocals, added them to my song, and I basically took what I needed from the composition that Suno created. Again, I wrote it, I sang it, I even uploaded me singing it. Sounded terrible. But I took the bare minimum, right? Because of my process, my bias, I kind of thought that maybe Telisha was doing something like that where maybe she has a team of producers or maybe she has a producer. Maybe there's someone making beats. Maybe there's something that she's doing that could lend to the assumption or assertion that maybe she would be a dope producer, but she doesn't have all the connects. So she's using AI to produce these songs, but she's not even producing the songs. She's literally making prompts of the same song hundreds of times and picking the best one. I can't even give her I can't even acknowledge the skill set there. And that's the thing. The problem with AI is that if we keep going down this road, no one's going to learn anything. No one's going to want to put effort into anything. And this is on the backdrop where older business people and business owners are saying why don't the millennials or the Gen Z people want to work? Actually, less millennials, but more so Gen Z. Why don't they want to work and put effort in? Why are they doing this stuff called quiet quitting? It's because it doesn't matter. Everything from the company is you're expendable, and everything in this society is being cooked in a microwave, and it's more so about virality rather than actual value. And let's talk about value. I personally believe that value should be tied to profit, not revenue. There's a whole bunch of startups who are just growing using cheap pricing to gain market dominance for technology that might be cool but not necessarily viable from a financial standpoint, but they get big enough and they stay around long enough to where they're the only ones there, and then they jack the prices when they become indispensable. To me, that's not proving value. That's just growth at all costs and cornering the market, creating pseudo monopolies. So, let's talk about what we're going to do about this, and let's talk about where we can go. Because here's the thing: I don't think that there's going to be a slew of $3 million record deals going to people prompting music. I think that the labels are going to just learn how to prompt the music. That end, When Telisha puts her poetry inside of Suno, Suno's learning how to write poetry now. What's to stop anyone from doing any of this? There's no moat. And that's been my critique about AI. There's no moat. Because all you need is someone else with a whole bunch of money to do the same thing you're doing, and then you're good to go. When one AI model comes out, the other AI models can look at that model, study it, and then those two models become the same, basically. There's no moat, and it's super expensive. But let's get off of that train and let's talk about what we need to do. The original sin in music was the creation of the MP3 file, which led to the boom in music piracy, and it was due to that small file size and the accessibility of that file. Instead of reconciling this, tech companies got in on the act and made selling access to all of the music easier than stealing it. And it's for these same reasons that AI is able to create music so well. It's the simplicity, the accessibility, and the transferability of the MP3 format. This paradigm does not exist for AAA video games, and it doesn't exist for full-length films. As a result, it's nearly impossible to bootleg games and would be extremely inconvenient if they could. People are lazy. They're better off just buying the game or the movie. Another point. Movies and games are full-blown active experiences. It's easy to steal a file. Very difficult to steal an experience. As a result, due to the complexity and file size, it will be a while before AI can make a AAA game or state-of-the-art film, because unlike music, these mediums continue to increase in complexity as they mature. In summary, MP3s are low-value formats and are easy pickings for AI. And here's the thing. There are other formats. There are WAV files, there are lossless, FLAC, so on and so forth. Tidal even wanted to do like this, higher cost in their streaming model where you got higher quality files. But when you get down to the lowest common denominator, your average person, they might just go on YouTube and search a song. They don't really care what the file format is. Most people don't care because there's no real difference. I have seen the Dolby Atmos sign on Apple Music songs, and I mean, the music sounds good, but is it like worlds apart from an MP3? The other issue is, while these file formats might exist, it's really hard for listeners to appreciate the difference. Visually, I can describe the gap between Disney's Chippendale and Avatar. It's really hard to do that with music. That being said, we have to up the complexity of music to make it valuable. And it's up to us as artists to do this. This starts with drawing a distinction between the passive experience of a playlist and the new active experience of albums. What does this look like? Glad you asked. This is Pedestal. Pedestal features a 4-track stem player. It features the ability to include liner notes. It also has a video player built in to the album so that you can sell your album and the videos that accompany it in one definitive drop. In addition, Pedestal allows you to give access to yourself as an artist. So this works for signed and unsigned, but it's you. It has a built-in social media network where everybody who purchased your mixtape or your album purchased it with the reason of supporting you, and as a result, there's a higher likelihood that you and that fan can have a dialogue. Because unlike with social media, these people came for you. With social media, you don't know why they followed you. You just know you have a lot of followers, but you don't really know much about them. With Pedestal, anyone who buys your project becomes part of it. You can steal a file. You cannot steal an experience. If you'd like to learn more about Pedestal and join the movement, please check out pedestal.biz. There's a war going on outside nobody's safe from. We're in a really peculiar place because we can't have both. You can't put your music and your lyrics into Suno to then take those songs, put them into Spotify, and then get mad that Spotify is using AI artists. Like, you cannot. That, and you're basically feeding the same instruments of your demise, because Spotify is just going to put you in their algorithm and decide what your music's worth, whether it be a fraction of a penny or if it never sees the light of day. You have absolutely no control. You have no way of contacting those monthly listeners. Suno is learning about your music every time you feed into Suno. We're living in the attention economy, and real businesses don't live in the attention economy. They live in the real economy. They're making products that are competing with milk and eggs, while we're here competing for attention. Attention. So that we can be paid out from some arbitrary pot of money that we have absolutely no control over. It just doesn't make sense. We have to wake up as artists, and we have to meet the moment. And that's what I designed Pedestal to do. Thank you for rocking with me. I plan to do more of these. Like, subscribe, and I'll check you guys out on the next one. Peace.